everyone, I'm Ari here with Rachel, and we're your hosts for the Merry Writer podcast. This week we're on episode 287, and we're asking, can morning pages help your writing? Before we start, if you enjoy the show, consider checking out our coffee page. You can follow the page for free, as we have plenty of goodies for all. If you're feeling generous, a one-off donation will get you access to more treats, or you can even become a Merry Writer for just $2 a month. For this, you get access to all the items in our shop, including some exclusive goodies, as well as access to monthly bonuses. And all this while helping to support our podcast. If that's not your style, but you still enjoy the show, then please subscribe wherever you're listening if you haven't already, and consider dropping us a like. Okay, so we're back with another one of these challenges, and honestly, we're kind of getting tired of them already. That's not to say we won't continue them next year, that's a possibility, but yeah, why did I ever suggest these?
I don't know. I was just going to say this was all your idea.
I hold my hand up that this was my idea. Ooh, this sounds like an idea. Nope, terrible. Okay, so let's start with the quick ones. What are morning pages? So I first learned about morning pages in the book The Artist's Way by Julia Cameron. And it is a good book. I've not fully gone through it all yet, but it's a great book. It's full of essays and tasks and exercises. I've actually got probably an older version. I think there's probably a new edition out now. And I also got with it when I got it as a kit, and it was like the book, almost like a workbook, which was empty. And the first task or tool, as she refers to it, that's introduced is morning pages. So the premise is that you get up in the morning, obviously, and the first thing you do is you write 3 pages of stuff. And by that, it just means like a stream of consciousness. You're not thinking, you are just letting all your inner thoughts meet the page. It's kind of just a brain dump. You clear out the noise of your head before you start your day. So maybe that's dreams that you've been having. Maybe that's just panics or worries. Maybe it's just that list of to-dos that automatically clicks in the moment you open your eyes. And so while it is a bit like journaling, it can be seen kind of differently. As I think with most people who journal, it's more of an intentional, thoughtful thing, whereas this is literally don't think, just write. That's how it seems to come across. So yeah, that was the concept. So why are morning pages encouraged? Because it's not just that book and that author who suggested it. It's now kind of spread. It's like anything, it gets out there and people start doing it. The point of morning pages is designed to give you some clarity on what you're dealing with and on what you're processing. There may be worries or stresses that you don't even realize have actually been bothering you. We humans are pretty good at pushing shit to the back of our minds. That's often why we have those kind of really intense dreams where you wake up going, what did that even mean? And it's because some shit has been building and building and building, and you really needed to address it, and then it comes out in some sort of weird moment. So yeah, the morning pages, they're meant to be uncensored thoughts, free of inhibitions. Just get it down. This is not something you share with people. This is not things you talk about. It's just clear your head out. So how did we do? Rach, why don't you go first?
Well, as Ari said, we decided to do the morning pages for 2 weeks. I did 2 days, and they were not consecutive days. There were a few reasons for this. One, I thought it was good timing because I had actually already been journaling in the morning before we decided to do this. I've been waking up and I've been doing a tarot reading for myself, and then I journal about it. And then we decided to do the morning pages, and I thought, well, I could do the morning pages in addition to my tarot reading. So I decided to write the 3 pages and then do my tarot reading. And it was a lot of writing because this is all handwriting. I don't know if it's specifically supposed to be handwriting, but I was handwriting it in my journal. And sometimes it would take me a couple of hours to do because some days I write really slow and other days I write really fast, and it all just depends. But the first time I did the 3 pages, I had no idea what I was supposed to talk about. Ari was like, it's stream of conscious. And I'm like, if I'm talking to myself out loud, yeah, I have stream of conscious. But when you're sitting there writing it, I didn't know what to write about. I was trying to think about what to write. I was trying to think about my stream of conscious, which kind of defeats the whole purpose. But I was also listening to music while doing it, which I don't know if that's a rule if you're supposed to listen to music or not. But I was listening to Pokemon radio on YouTube. So I was bopping to all the Pokemon songs. So then I ended up writing a good like 2.5 pages about Pokemon because the first half page was me just saying, Ari told me to do this. I don't know what I'm supposed to do. I don't know what I'm supposed to write about. But then I was like, ooh, this song is a bop. And then I started talking about Pokemon for the rest of my pages. And then the next time I did it, it was maybe like a couple of days later, the next time I did it, and this was the final time I did it. And I think I wrote, if I remember correctly, about what I needed to do and what was stressing me out. And it was good. It was cathartic. But also, I was dealing with a lot of health issues while we were doing this challenge. I was having some physical health issues that turned into mental health issues, which ironically, the morning pages was supposed to help with the mental health, but I never ended up doing it. So I only did the two. I think if we ever decided to do this again, now that I know what to expect from it, I think I could do better at it. And I don't know, maybe I'll do it again on my own without like the time constraint, maybe. Or maybe even if I just try to aim for like one page every morning or something like that. So I did like it. I just wasn't able to give it a fair shot.
Yeah, I can understand that, especially as you said, you also do journaling. So that is a lot of handwriting first thing in the morning. That's a lot to do. And I don't think there is a rule. I mean, as I said, I might be wrong, but I don't think there's any rule about whether you should listen to music or not. I think that can depend on the person. Some people struggle to focus their thoughts without music or some sort of background noise. Other people need silence. Even it's like even the pages, like write 3 pages. Well, that depends. If you have an A4 notebook, which is I don't know what anybody else uses. We use A4. I think you use letter the size and the regular size paper. That's a lot to write. If you have like an A5, like a smaller half letter size notepad, is it 3 pages of that? Is it 3 pages of the bigger pad? Is it 3 smaller pages? I think it just needs to be 3 pages. And that's how I did it because I'm like, I am not writing in 3 big full pages because I will get hand cramp and I will lose my temper. I know I will. So I got a smaller notebook and I just thought, just 3 pages. And the same with like the handwriting. I think it is meant to be suggested that it's handwriting. Obviously, if there's any issue with accessibility and typing works better, don't be like, oh, I have to handwrite, type. And there was a few times when I literally was like, no, there's no way I'm handwriting anything. My brain's too full. I need to get it out quickly, and my hand is too slow for that nonsense. So I did actually do some typing, in which case I think I class each page as like 300 words because I thought, well, it's like a novel in there. It's like 300 words, that's fine. So that's how I did it.
Yeah, I think that's fine. I wrote my bullet journal. I have a bullet journal that I don't actually use for bullet journaling. I just use it for regular journaling. So whatever size that is, that's what I used.
Think that's an A5, but I don't know because I've seen
Sure.
people with bullet journals that are A4. So like printer paper, full size printer paper is A4. Does that help?
Yeah, no, no, no. I wasn't using that.
Yeah, but that's it. I've seen people like that's my journal, and it's like I am not using a big journal to write shit in. No, too much.
Wait, now I'm curious. I gotta go get it.
Okay, well, Rachel goes and finds her journal so we can actually have an idea of what size we're dealing with. I was gonna carry on, but honestly, I'm trying to find my notes. Where did I put my notes? Oh, Rachel has got her pad. Bear with us, people. It looks like A5. It looks like half the size of printer paper.
It doesn't say the size, but it's this.
Yeah, that's A5, I would say.
Oh,
So
okay.
half the size of printer paper. I don't know what that is to anyone outside the UK who doesn't use the A4, A5, A6 sizes.
I don't even know what it is, so just grab a piece of paper. Grab scrap paper if you want. Start slow.
Yeah, or I've said if you're typing, just make each page 300 words and do what you can. Now, I did pretty well. I didn't do the whole 2 weeks, but I did quite a few. I was terrible at doing it first thing in the morning. That's where I fell down. The point is, get up, do that, and then start your day. And it's meant to be before you add more noise to your head. Because let's be honest, you get up, you check your email, you pick up the post, you chat to somebody, you chat to your partner, your kids, your neighbor, whatever. It's all more noise in your head. That's why it's meant to be in the morning, like first thing. I mean, people are like, oh, I get up early to do it. So I'm not doing that. But honestly, there are always several things I need to do. I don't even have breakfast first. I have to wake up and sort the cats because if I even like just open my eyelids, they know I'm awake and they come running up and it's scratching at the door and yowling really loudly and then attacking each other and possibly having an accident on the floor as a kind of protest if I haven't got out of bed quick enough because my ginger cat is a dick. So honestly, the idea of getting up and like giving myself like 20, 30 minutes to write my journal, no, that's just never going to happen. So that was a problem. And it would often mean it was like lunchtime when I was doing it, which meant I had more noise in my head. But in the end, it's not about you have to do 3 pages, you have to handwrite it, you have to do it in silence, you have to do it first thing. You've got to be flexible. If you've got young kids, if you're a carer for someone, there's so many other like variables that you just can't, not everyone can go, well, yes, I'll just give myself the extra time. No, I take ages to get sleep these days. So me waking up early, it means I'd get like 5 hours sleep, 4 hours sleep if I got up early. So no, I'm gonna do that. I didn't handwrite it all the time because sometimes when I realized I was getting later and later to do it, I kind of stressed myself out. That's great. And then I thought, well, I'm going to lose too much time doing it. I will type it because I'm a faster typer. However, I think it would have been better all handwritten. The only issue is I am one of those people that my stream of conscious is so fast. I'd struggle to keep up with it. But again, I actually think that's part of it. I think you're meant to have that little bit of sort of like getting used to holding your thoughts as you write them rather than just like I did find them quite cathartic and also stressful. Now I was aware that it wouldn't be a wow, this is brilliant, it feels great. It's meant to actually be quite emotional. I've heard that a lot from different things. It's meant to be something that you start realizing things because the whole point is you're not thinking about it, you're just stream of conscious things in your head, and as you write other things come out because like one thing will trigger another thing, they'll trigger another thing. And the first day was fine-ish. The second day I started to notice things. I kept using words like heartbreaking and regret and upset, and I was like, oh, that's a little bit more surprising than I thought. And then I started to feel very uncomfortable with the experience because it is quite raw. I think it's very similar to journaling. It's very similar to therapy. If you've ever been to therapy, the first few times you go, you don't usually give too much because, and again, this is all generalization. There might be people out there going, "You're talking crap." But bear with me. I have found, and the people I've talked to have found, you're usually a little bit more reserved when you first start any form of therapy because you don't know the person you're talking to. You don't know the therapist. And it's hard to just automatically open the doors and let everything out. But as you get further in and you'll say things, and then the therapist will grab that and ask you a question that's a little bit more, rubs against a wound, and you're like, okay, didn't think of it that way. That's how I felt this experience. I felt uncomfortable because things kept coming up that I wasn't expecting. And yeah, it's not uncommon. Like, yeah. Yeah, it's not uncommon, especially at the beginning. It's like meditation. If you do deep meditation and you've not done it you've never done it before, after a few days or weeks, it can feel a little bit uncomfortable before it kind of gets better. Same with therapy, same with this. I think if I'd have pushed through and done more, I think I would have settled in with it a bit better and I think I would have gained more from it. However, I did end up stopping on the odd day because my anxiety started getting a little high and I was making my think a bit too much. And again, this is what it's meant to do. You're meant to think about things and see what comes out and then think about that and process that. And it's not an easy thing to do. It's not an easy thing to do when you're looking out at certain things that you're like, wow, I did not realize that was still bothering me, or I didn't realize that had ever bothered me because you shoved it at the back of your head. It did help me to remember things I'd forgotten, things I'd wanted to check, or memories of my childhood or other times when things have been happy. And I'd even forgotten good memories. So that was interesting that it did kind of, it'd trigger things and then some good memory would pop up and you're like, oh my gosh, I forgot about that. So that was interesting. It was a bit more intense than I was expecting. So like Rachel said, like I think it might be a good thing to try again at another time. And exactly like Rachel said, without the constraint. Because having that in the back of my head, this is for the podcast, get it done, don't forget. I did feel like I was always like, oh shit, I've got to do it now, rather than skipping a few days until I was calmer and doing it. But yeah, it is. I think if you do it, you have to go in, be wary that it might make you feel unmoored, you know, like like you're just drifting a bit, and yeah, the ground is a little soft under your feet, and you don't feel as secure. That's what I found after doing several days, and I'm sure if I'd have carried on, it would have been better.
It sounds like it worked for you, though. I mean, it sounds like it did the job. Like, even though you didn't do it for the full 2 weeks, like, you were able to get something out of it, which is good. I mean, that's the whole purpose of it. I was curious about the morning thing, though, because you're not usually a morning person. So I was wondering how you would have done with it. But I'll admit, I didn't do mine first thing in the morning either, even though I am a morning person. Because when we decided to do this, I was pet sitting at a house where they have a 2-year-old golden retriever and 4 cats, and 2 of them are kittens. So my mornings were a bit hectic. It takes like 30 minutes just to feed everybody breakfast. So yeah, I think the first time I did the morning pages, I think I did mine around like lunchtime as well. And then I just talked about Pokemon. But it kind of like talking about what you wrote about in your morning pages, it almost kind of sounds like it was similar to shadow work in a way.
Yeah, that's exactly what it was
Yeah.
like.
Which I have a shadow work journal and I really like that. And I think for me personally, if I give the morning pages another shot without the podcast hanging over my head, because I already said it's like homework almost. So it's like,
Yes.
oh, I gotta do this. And it's not, you're not doing it because you want to or you need to. You're like, oh, I have to. So yeah, definitely worth trying again.
I think especially because we had a deadline, like we had to do the morning pages within a certain few weeks, ready for the ability to do this episode. Whereas without that, you could drop a couple of days, do it, drop a couple of days, do it. Now, I think in the artist way, the idea is do it every day for however long. I really need to pull that book out and read it again. It's meant to make you feel a little bit uncomfortable. The whole book, I think, is meant to kind of push you back into creativity and finding yourself again. And I hate that term, but you know what I mean. I would recommend doing it slowly. I would recommend kind of being prepared for what might come out, and maybe go to therapy if it gets worse. Definitely give yourself time to process everything. Because as I said, things came out that I expected that were still bothering me. Things came out that I had not thought about in years, and I wouldn't have said that was even something bothering me, but obviously it's tucked away at the back. And I kind of opened the cupboard door and like let all the light in, and all the little spiders, which are my worries and stresses, came scurrying out into the light. I also feel like it might be a good tool for resilience, because we have this habit of pushing things away. We don't always like to face things head on, especially uncomfortable emotions, uncomfortable situations or experiences. We kind of just like, oh, I'm not going to talk about that, and we just hide it away. So that's not always great. That can be quite detrimental. And facing things head on and processing it head on, I think, is a good resilience tool. And I think we all need a bit more resilience. What do you think?
I can agree with that because the whole purpose of this episode is can morning pages help your writing? So, Ari, do you think with the resilience and even just getting into that habit of morning pages, do you think it would actually help your writing?
I think it would, but it didn't straight away, because it left me feeling very raw. And then I kind of didn't want to do any writing. And yet, which is weird, is because if you do writing when you're feeling quite vulnerable or you're feeling quite emotional, you can get some brilliant things coming out in your writing, because you're tapping into those deep emotions that you want to kind of invoke in your readers. I think if I'd have carried on and I wasn't like in the editing trenches or in the post editing trenches, which is where I was, I think, yes, I think eventually it would have kind of given me more clarity, and it would have helped me pull some of those experiences into the writing. So I think it could have. I just think I needed to do it more. I see it like aversion therapy, which is if you're really like terrified of something like heights or something, and then they make you go up and down in the elevator. See, I'm seeing elevator. They make you go up and down in the lift, so you're like on the top floor looking over the top, and you come down, and you go back up. It's kind of forcing you to go through it until you don't have that fear anymore. So yeah, I think reliving things, going through things over and over, because that's a therapy thing as well, is it rerunning your traumas, going over and over and over with them until it takes their power. Again, I hate that phrase. It can be quite helpful. So I think the more you do it, the more you are able to cope with it, the more it clears your head, the more it opens you up to better writing. So yeah, I think it would. I just don't want to try it yet for a while.
No, that's fair. That's fair. I think it can help you writing in other ways as well. One, because of the routine, but two, if you actually do it first thing in the morning, I think it's a great way that first thing in the morning you wake up and you have something else to focus on, even if you don't quite know what you're focusing on yet because it's all stream of conscious. And just have the act of handwriting can do wonders rather than doom scrolling on your phone or checking emails or just immediately hopping on your desk at the computer and write, blog, or whatever it is you do. It's a great way to slow your mornings down. That's what I'm trying to say. I'll stop talking now because I finally got to the point.
No, but that's it exactly, isn't it? They suggest that you should start your day reading or journaling or something where you're taking a bit of time for yourself. It's slower, it's quieter, there's no distractions. It's like the last thing you should do the first thing in the morning is pick up a screen or put on the telly or open your email. Even if it's just the first hour of the day, just try not to touch that and do something. And we've talked about it in an episode, I can't remember, where we said like how important handwriting is and what it does to the brain. I will try and find that and link it if I remember. So yeah, so it's got lots of benefits. But yeah, that's what we found out of it. Okay, we're gonna leave it there. But before we actually go, if you want to learn more about us, the podcast, opportunities to be a guest on our show, don't forget to check out the website on the merriwriterpodcast.podbean.com. We'll turn it over to you guys. Have you ever done morning pages, or do you plan to? Did you want to and then you're now turned off because of what we said? Possible. Do let us know your answer in the comments so we can chat about it. Remember, we release a new episode every Wednesday. Next week, we're interviewing a special guest. To ensure you don't miss it, hit the subscribe button on your way out. And as always, thanks for listening to the Merry Writer Podcast. We'll see you next week. The podcast is brought to you by Thought-Provoking Questions. We overthink things. The music, titled Inspired, is by Kevin MacLeod, licensed under Creative Commons 4.0.